Every week, Kentucky Afield brings you features on hunting and fishing across the state.
What a nice fish.
An opportunity to hopefully get that bird in play.
Hey, we got another one over here.
There he is. Ooh, a nice one too. Boy, he's healthy.
What do we got? That was awesome. Got the first kill.
Barely made it out in the field.
Got one. Big smallmouth.
Very nice.
Double point. They're in there.
There they go.
Look at that joker.
Woo.
That's a good one there. Look at that. Whoa, this is a good one.
That's better than good, Chad.
Hello and welcome to Kentucky Afield. I'm your host, Chad Miles, and tonight you have tuned into our fall hunting live show. Tonight's show is going to be broke up into 3 segments with some main discussion with each of our panelists. Then we're going to do a little bit of trivia, and we're going to end up answering all of your questions that you submit. So you can submit them in the comments below, or you can text your questions to us. Now let's meet our panelists. First up, we have Dr. John Hast, who's our Wildlife Program Coordinator. How you doing?
Doing great.
Next up, we have Jimmy Woods, who's a wildlife biologist. How you doing?
Doing great.
And answering all of our law enforcement questions. Now, in the end, we have Sergeant Thomas Blackwell. How you guys doing?
Doing good, sir.
Hey, our fall hunting seasons are in. Right now, we have both crossbow and archery seasons have opened up for deer. We've got some small game seasons going on, and then there's some duck seasons in as well, correct?
Yep.
So hopefully you've already had time to hit the woods. And I know I've been in a tree stand 2 or 3 times. You've been out as well, haven't you?
I have, yeah. Actually was able to harvest a buck with my recurve, which was pretty neat.
Very cool, very cool. Well, hopefully you guys get some time to get out and get in a tree stand very soon. All right, let's get to our main topics here. First off, we're going to talk about some of our new bear archery season regulations. Tell me a little bit about what's going on in Clinton and Wayne counties.
Yeah, so we got an expanded archery season this year in Clinton and Wayne County. So open September 20th, so last weekend, runs through October 3rd.
Okay.
And that's both archery and crossbow.
Okay.
Overlaps with it started when crossbow for deer started, so it'll give you an opportunity to deer hunt with a bear tag in your pocket as well.
Okay, very cool. So how do you go about getting a bear tag now here in Kentucky?
Yeah, absolutely, over the counter. So jump on our website, same place you bought your sportsman's license or fishing license or anywhere. You can just click on the bear tag there, bear permit.
Okay. Main thing that you got to know about bear hunting is for on the legal side is make sure you got your hunting license and permit. But the number one big thing for bear hunting is the baiting issue, correct?
It is.
Tell me a little bit about baiting for bear. Tell me what you got to watch out for.
So there is, of course, no baiting for bear. With the cleanup process, is it the same as if there is bait on the property?
Correct, yep.
They have to make sure that's all cleaned up before they can hunt it.
Yep.
It's a little bit of a tricky question. I know you don't work in the mountains where there are bear, but I appreciate you coming in there. All right, let's talk a little bit about management techniques on your property or on properties that you tend to hunt on, and management techniques to improve habitat for quail, rabbits, squirrel, turkeys, and grouse. Talk to me a little bit about that, because I know, Jimmy, this is something that you do every single day. You're out trying to improve the habitat for wildlife species.
Sure, yeah. Especially in the previous roles that I've had, managing public land for all those species, for sure. And currently I'm working as a small game biologist trying to promote management for those same species. So basically trying to get people to do the management that I used to be doing on public land on their own property.
Okay.
And there's a million ways to improve your property for a plethora of species. If you're thinking about small game, especially prescribed fires, wonderful. It's one of my favorite tools. I call it a tool because you can accomplish many things with it. It doesn't always do the same thing. Depending on your situation, you can apply that tool in different ways.
Okay.
So for all those species, prescribed fire is really good. Early successional habitat is a word we throw around a lot, and that is really beneficial to your quail, to your rabbits, and the way you might do that changes, the rotations and so on. So the best thing to do is to get in touch with one of your local biologists, honestly.
Okay.
They can come out to your property and help you determine the best avenue.
Everybody wants more wildlife, and sometimes you can get better habitat and more wildlife by doing less work. It's very interesting. Every year we have this conversation with the wildlife biologists. They always talk about, spraying less and mowing less is always a good way. But then when invasive plant species or it gets so thick that your sun's not getting down and your new grasses are not growing up, that's where your fire comes in, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's all about balance, right? Most people are managing their property slicked off. They're mowing it, they're keeping it really short, and that doesn't really provide a lot of cover for wildlife. Predators are something that comes up a whole lot. And when you think about it, the reason your chickens are in a chicken coop is because, if they were out, something would eat them. That thick cover works just like that chicken coop. They're protected if they're in that cover. So if you're losing animals to predators, you probably don't have good habitat.
Now, there is a science to a prescribed burn, so we need to make sure that people aren't just going out and setting things on fire to make their habitat better.
Certainly.
So you make sure, you guys go through and check the moisture and how much wind. There's a ton that goes into before you set a fire. You got to take a lot of information and make sure that it's the right way, cut burn paths and stuff to keep the fire from spreading. A lot goes into it, right?
Definitely, yeah.
But for a person who wants to put their piece of property into a burn every so many years, what is the time frame? Is it every 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? What is it typically?
Yeah, that's a great question. I hate to say it depends, but it truly does. It depends on the type of burn you're looking at, so a forested burn versus an open land burn. And it depends on the species or suite of species that you're focusing on.
Okay.
So if you're thinking about, for instance, quail, you might want to be on an every year, every other year type rotation, but you don't want to burn your whole property all at once. For something like deer or just general forest management, you might be out to 5 years or something like that.
Okay.
The species that really want a lot of bare ground, quail walk around on the ground, they like it, that thatch layer to be burned off pretty frequently. But for a rabbit, just keep the trees out of the field and you're going to be okay.
Yeah, okay, all right. Let's talk a little bit about some changes this year for our hunting seasons. We've got a couple things on the deer side especially. Tell me what has changed this year that people out there that are planning their fall hunting may need to know about.
Sure. So there's this weekend is going to be our first ever antlerless only weekend. It's Saturday and Sunday, and it's only in the 14 counties of the surveillance zone, the CWD surveillance zone. They can take antlerless deer by any means, firearm, archery, crossbow, what have you. The only stipulation, besides if you were outside the zone or regularly hunting, is that you need to, once you recover the deer, process it, telecheck it, and then take a sample to one of our drop-off stations.
Okay.
We have several drop-off stations, and they can be found on our website. Basically, they're coolers that you can drop the head in so that they can do samples on the way to the biologist.
And this is samples for CWD testing.
Correct.
So, another hot topic right now is HD, which is different than CWD, but HD is on the landscape just like it is every single year here in the state of Kentucky. And this year, in certain pockets, it's been a little bit worse. Tell me a little bit about, very quickly about HD, and then let's talk a little bit about this year is different, but it's not that unique, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what's been keeping us busy here the last month. We expected every year, August, September time, we get a few cases in. This is a little, worse year than we've had in maybe since back to 2017. We had a big outbreak in East Kentucky. So the interesting thing this year, it's pretty well spread all the way across the state, but still, even locally, even within the corner of a county, it might be one farm and not the other. It can be that localized, which makes it tough to manage. It's going to be very much up to the landowner to, get a read on what how hard their population's been hit, and then manage accordingly. There's certainly some farm owners I've talked to that got hit pretty good, and others that haven't found a single dead deer. So,
a lot of people wonder, they're like, man, my property's been devastated. I don't know why we're having a deer season this year. The simple fact is that we manage wildlife year out, and we know there's going to be certain HD and certain other outbreaks. This year, I think August was one of the driest on record. It's been a couple years since we had a major outbreak, so these deer are susceptible. If you have a piece of property that you're seeing a whole lot of dead deer on there, we put our rules and regulations out by zone. Not to say you can't be more conservative on your piece of property if you feel like you've been harder hit.
Absolutely, yeah. It's very much up to the private landowner. I mean, that's really the role that you've got. You've got the, in my case, our farm in Ohio County, we have seen a few dead deer, but it's not going to be enough to throw off our deer season or change our harvest goals or that kind of stuff. But that certainly might not be the case across the board. If you've got, and everybody's running their cameras right now and checking on their bucks, and the possibility that your shooter buck got lost to EHD, but good chance another one will fill in, or certainly it balances deer populations in some places.
If you get caught up on some of the forums, and I read a lot of the hunting forums, people start talking about they've lost their target buck and the genetics are, they've lost that genetics. And what you got to remember is that 2-year-old buck that hadn't hit its potential yet is not a shooter right now. Probably has those same genetics as that 5-year-old buck that you were chasing, as well as those does, right?
The does play a major role.
Those does also are carrying the genetics, and it's hard to tell the rack capacity of that doe is carrying. But Mother Nature is unique in the fact that there are certain things that white-tailed deer can do to replenish themselves rather quickly when these type outbreaks happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think East Kentucky, we had a major outbreak in 2017, and I think most people will agree it's back to where it was, if not better than what it was before.
Yeah.
So it might take a couple of years, but it'll bounce back.
Tell me a little bit about what those things are as far as that creates that bounce back. I'm guessing that less mouths to feed means more nutrition, means the does are healthy. How's that whole cycle work?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it comes down solely to less mouths to feed. A lot of our Zone 1 counties, Zone 1 is essentially what we consider we've got too many deer, we're overpopulated. Very much might be a pocket of overpopulation and not another, but it certainly when you reduce that, and my family farm in Ohio County was a great example. Really knocked the deer population back way back in 07 when we had a big EHD outbreak. We had way too many deer. The years after that, we had a couple tough deer seasons, and then we had big bucks showing up on camera, just like that.
Yeah.
So that what's available to them makes a huge difference, and just giving them that nutritional bump. And a lot of times, the most important time of the year, for deer nutrition is kind of late summer, early fall. Late lactational phases for the does. So having more food during that time is a big benefit.
Now, deer, a really healthy doe may have a successful pregnancy, and because of the food source, may have more offspring than she would have had if there were more mouths on the landscape. So it doesn't help this year, but it can replenish itself really quickly.
Yep.
Tell me about, so what is the most you've ever seen a doe have an offspring?
I've only seen 2. There's a handful of cases of 3 out there, but it's really rare. So.
And now, do deer do anything as far as the offspring they throw, as far as more males, more females? Does any of that change based on deer population and nutrition levels?
I don't know that it does. It definitely does with bears. I'm not sure if it does with whitetails.
Yeah, very, very interesting. All right, next question here. Let's talk about some of our tactics that are used with our game species hunter surveys. There's a bunch of them out there. If you've bought a tag, you can go onto your My Profile and get some of those. But you guys gather information a lot through hunters, through landowners, but other sources as well. Tell me how you gather some of your information based on population and species.
Sure, absolutely. So there's a few different ways we'll do that. One of our best and longest running surveys is our rural mail carrier survey. And essentially all of the rural mail carriers across the state, we mail them all survey cards, and they will, on their route, look for rabbits and quail. And that survey has been running since 1960. So it's really neat to see that data over time. It's not super encouraging because quail numbers you can see just dwindle right down, but that's all habitat related. And but it's a great survey, a great way of getting at kind of a statewide look at the population. The other one that we do is hunter cooperator surveys, and essentially that's gives our hunters a chance to keep a hunting log, essentially, where they note the county they were hunting in, how many squirrels they saw, or rabbits or quail, and then tell us through their, essentially logging every hunt and then mail that back to us. And that gives us an idea of the population over time. We can get some metrics from that. So those are our two main ones we're using right now. We have a new one out there that's called Game Species Hunted, and that's actually available on the website. It's not getting utilized a whole lot. It's just a little button you can click on, but if you wouldn't mind clicking on it and telling us the species you hunt, it helps, because we'll end up mailing you a hunter cooperator survey and saying, hey, would you tell us a little more information?
Is that found in the My Profile as well?
Yes, yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
Right.
It's a little tab on the right-hand side.
We talked about going online. One of the interesting things, going back to EHD, hate to jump back there, but if a person does find a deer on their piece of property, there's actually a very easy online form that you fill out that lets us know that that's there. And tell me a little bit about where they can find that and what all is included in that.
Absolutely. So we've got a reporting form for kind of any dead wild animal that you might come up on. So that could be up any time of the year you might run into anything. We've had a couple interesting bird die-offs recently that we were able to kind of detect with that system, so it's highly useful for us. We've got a separate sick deer reporting page.
Okay.
And that just kind of encompasses, especially during this time that we've got EHD, but it also might be the case of a roadkill that's made it off the road and you just need assistance with it. So we've got our wildlife health team puts together a map, sends it out every week of the EHD. So we're getting real-time data on where these sick deer are.
But you need landowners and hunters and outdoor enthusiasts to help with this. I mean, we've got a limited amount of biologists. They can't be on every piece of property. Even public lands, private lands, it doesn't matter. If you're an outdoor person and you come across it, you want to go online and fill that out. It's only a couple questions, right?
Yeah, a couple questions, and you can even at the end of it check a box that you don't want to call. If it's just, you find a dead deer, that's all you want, great. We'll still include it on our map. And a lot of these EHD cases recently, once we know we've got it into a county, we're not going to go investigate every one. We might go and remove that deer if it's right on somebody's back porch or something. But it really helps kind of filter through and allows us to prioritize what cases we go after.
I love that you told me that it's not an EHD reporting page, because you're not asking people to diagnose what caused this death or whatever. If you come across a suspicious looking dead deer, if it's not laying in the road, if it's a suspicious looking dead deer or any other wildlife species, go on there, put that information in, hit send. Like say, if you don't want to be contacted, there's an option for that, and just let us know so that we can kind of keep up with it. If it's in a very short amount of time, maybe to get somebody out there to get a sample, but everybody wants the sample taken, but there's a small window to make those samples useful, right?
It is, especially in the month of August, with August, September, with the heat we've had. Our HD samples, it's got to be fresh lung tissues, real important. So a lot of those, you can upload pictures, so a lot of times we can tell if it's worth going. We might follow up, and as long as you're good with where that deer is, we might leave that alone. And that's been, that's essentially what's driven our understanding of this latest HD outbreak, is that mapping system, the online system.
Very interesting. I've actually went and filled that form out before, and I've sent it to some friends as well. So it's pretty simple.
It is.
Hey, we're going to go through a couple more of this main discussion, and then we're going to get to a section that's going to be kind of interesting. It's going to be a trivia questions that we're going to ask 10 different trivia questions to our panelists here, and you can play at home as well. So we're going to get to that, and then at the end, we're going to do like we do during our normal call-in show. We're going to take some of your questions. So start submitting those questions now. The first 3 people who we read their question, we're going to actually give you this brand new Kentucky Afield hat. These actually just came in. So if you are one of the first 3 questions that we ask later on in the live question and answer segment, you're going to get one of these Kentucky Afield hats. So make sure you get your questions submitted, and we'll get to that toward the end of the show. Let's get to another section here, which is we're talking about this change, which is this new deer season for doe only. You can use a rifle, you can use whatever format you want. Tell me a little bit about why this is useful and what information we're gathering.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is one of our best, by far the best tool. So our entire foundation of our CWD surveillance program is using hunters to get us the deer that we need. We don't go out there and shoot piles of them. You know, we want to take that hunter harvested animal and then use that animal in our surveillance. So it's an extra opportunity. We hope that we hope we get some, a little bit cooler weather this weekend and people get out there. We're trying to make it as simple as possible on the hunter. So go kill your doe. We don't really have a set time frame for when that deer head needs to make it in our freezers, but we're asking sometime in that week. So we're going to have our technicians out running those freezers daily for 8 or 10 days after the season, just so we can jump right on those samples. And it's as easy as, give us 1 inch or 2 of neck and you can freeze it. That's ultimately what we're going to do with it in our check-in freezers. A couple Walmart sacks, stick it in your freezer when it's convenient Monday on your way to work, after work, drop it in one of our freezers. We've got about, I would say, I've got the guide here in front of me, but probably 30, 35 drop-off freezers in our CWD zones, maybe more.
You can find those in the hunting guide as well as online, right?
Yep.
And then all the paperwork that you need is right there, and it's literally is just your confirmation number, your information, and you put that, attach it, put it down in the deep freeze, close it up, you're done. And
we've got trash bags. If you come right out of the field by a freezer, we've got trash bags, instructions, and the tags. You can rip the bottom section off, and in about 3 to 4 weeks be able to look up those results if you're interested. So we're really hoping that this early season helps us knock out some of our quotas. We've got quotas set for each county, a couple thousand deer. With hunters putting them in the freezers, you may see less of us during modern gun season on mandatory checks in the future if this works. So go shoot a doe, put her head in the freezer, and we may be able to not pester the hunters as much during modern gun season.
What a unique opportunity to be out with a rifle, and if you're in one of those counties early, before you're worried about, during firearm season when you're up there with a rifle, if you've still got a buck tag, that doe comes by, you're like, oh man, there could be a big buck trailing her. This time of year, they're not going to be chasing them this time of year. Right. So just an opportunity to fill the freezer earlier and then focus more on hunting that big buck, that big animal. But now it's only in 14 counties, CWD zone counties, so make sure you check your hunting guide and make sure that you're hunting in one of those counties. And all other rules and regulations apply to hunter's orange, legal hunting equipment as far as rifle rounds, all that's exactly the same. Is that right?
Yes, that's what I was going to cover when you said any format, and I think I said that too at the beginning. Any legal format that doesn't open up the gates to just go to town. Any legal format that you would use during the legal deer seasons, which you can use to harvest these antlerless deer.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is just make sure you bring that head to one of those drop-off stations so that we can process it and get the data from it.
Because that's really what we're looking for. We're looking for that data. Yeah. Well, when it comes to hunting, and it comes to habitat, really talking about cover and food. And I went out with a couple of biologists a few years ago, and one of the things I know you work on is your mass crop surveys. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about how that's looking here in the state of Kentucky right now, and give me an idea. I mean, I know you got several different species of mass crops, oak, hickory, beech, and there's others. What is the time frame in which they usually start dropping in what order so that people can kind of hone in their hunting this year based on what food source may be available? Because the deer are going to be where the food are at, the squirrels are going to be where the food are at. That's how it works, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So in my experience, it's going to be the hickories first are going to be falling. If you're squirrel hunting, I mean, that's where I go. I'm trying to target squirrels. Followed by your white oaks, and then, finally your red oaks are going to fall. And that's usually my late season hunting for deer. As far as the way our mass crop's looking this year, we don't have all the data analyzed at this point, but I will say, just looking at it briefly, it looks pretty decent across the board. Nothing really stands out like it's going to be an unbelievable year, but nothing's a failure crop either. So I think we're going to be in pretty good shape, oak, hickory, and beech.
What time do those, you said the hickory, so deer, they don't really feed on hickory a ton, do they?
I haven't seen deer feed on hickory very much, no.
But the white oak, when those hit, man, that can change your deer pattern significantly. You could be hunting field lines and seeing tons of deer, and all of a sudden you think, what in the world has happened? And elk too. I know you've spent a ton of time with the elk program, and I'm guessing bear as well. Anything that's going to feed on those white oaks, it can totally change the pattern of movement for your game species.
Absolutely.
When do you start seeing the white oaks hit the ground?
I hunt mostly on chinkapin oak, and they're falling right now.
Okay.
So if I'm hunting white oak, in the areas I hunt, it's mostly chinkapin, and they're falling right now. I want to say the white oak that we're most familiar with, I think those are falling right now as well. If not, they'll be falling here in the next month.
So if you got that deer stand up there and you're hunting that field edge and you've been seeing a lot of deer and all of a sudden things slow down a little bit, you might want to go take a walk through the woods and see what other food sources are available, because it will totally change your deer movement.
And I'll add one more thing too. When we do this mass survey, we go out with binoculars and just look up in the trees and see which trees have a lot of acorns in them, and we have a little system for doing that. But it's a great way to scout prior to season, is just to go out and figure out which trees actually are loaded down with acorns and set up your spot right there.
We talked a little bit about our fall hunting season. We all get so excited for September 1st, and dove season came, and it's still opportunity to dove hunt if you didn't get out there. We got checked this year and had my HIP survey filled out, all my paperwork done. What other things do hunters need to make sure, if you're a new hunter or if you're a hunter that maybe it's been a few years, what are some things you need to look out for to make sure that you're abiding by all the rules and regulations? Like what are the most common citations that are out there?
Sure.
That are avoidable?
Yeah, and majority of it is just spending time and doing research before you go out, just like you would do any other research before you're taking on a new hobby or something. The biggest thing is license violations. People don't have the correct license. Another one is hunter education. They might not have that. Maybe they came from another state and they don't have a copy of it with them, which that's, if they did get it from another state, we recognize it. So that might be maybe a little bit extra back work they'd have to do to get it. Hunter orange during the rifle season is another big thing. They think they can take it off when they get up in the tree stand or when they get into a blind. And basically that is not for, it's for your safety to have the hunter orange on, and so that others can see you. So that's kind of one of our big hits as well. I would say overall is just the licensing, knowing what type of license you need whenever you're hunting big game. The 1 day, 5 day, 7 day, those aren't going to work. You need to have a resident hunting license if you are a resident of Kentucky. Telechecking is probably another one of the top 5 or so. People forget to telecheck. If it is by midnight of the day that it was recovered, and that's what a lot of people think. They have 24 hours. So once the animal has been recovered, you have till midnight of the day it was recovered to telecheck it. You can do it on your phone, you can do it on your profile, so it's very, very easy to do. A lot of people get that confused with the harvest log. They assume that whenever they get the deer and start moving it, they have to telecheck it. And then they're like, well, what if I don't have cell service? So the biggest thing is once you find the animal and you start to move it away from where you found it, you need to fill out the harvest log. And that is going to be like the date, county, sex, species, and that's your harvest log for.
Let me ask you a question on that, because now cell service is getting better and everybody seems like they've got their cell phone on them when they're deer hunting now, right? If you are able to go onto your My Profile very quickly and go ahead and telecheck that animal, and you are now going to telecheck that animal and you're going to debone it, leave everything else out there, and you're bringing out just what you want, right? What do you need as far as a harvest log when it comes to that? If it's already been telechecked and everything's done, do you still need to attach a harvest log to the meat that you're bringing out?
So if you have it on your person, that'll suffice. Once it leaves your possession, that's whenever you need to carry that number and leave it. Like if you're going to drop it off at a buddy's house, maybe they wanted to have the meat. That's whenever you need to transfer that confirmation number. So that we know that it was legally acquired.
Gotcha. I'll tell you what, because that it seems like with the whole issue with transporting deer and worried about diseases from location to location. This whole idea of deboning in the field is something that I've catch myself hunting a little further away, carrying some bags and deboning them and bringing out what I want. And, it makes it a lot easier to do that. And if you hunt in a place where you have cell service, I mean, by the time I get to the vehicle and put it on ice, pretty much done if it stays in my possession, right?
And that's the thing is once you actually start beyond field dressing it, you do need to telecheck it then. So I did say midnight, but that's once you start deboning it, once you start doing further than just field dressing the deer, then you need to telecheck them beforehand.
Very easy to do it online. I think I can go through that process and click the boxes quicker than I can call the telecheck number and go through it. So if you've not tried that, if you've never tried that before, you may want to give it a shot because I find that to be actually easier. So, well, I have been at a deer stand this year too, and I will tell you, I was out and was able to take a doe pretty early on, and been seeing a lot of deer. Saw quite a few bucks, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. I've already put a little bit of venison in the freezer. I've already made some jerky. I love this time of year. Football season's in. Having a stick of jerky for my drive to the deer stand or sitting on the couch, there's nothing better. So, got the stove fired up. If you've never tried to make your own jerky, it's really simple. You don't need a whole lot of gear. You can literally do it in your oven. Have you ever done it that way with your oven door open?
Oh, I have, yeah.
You have?
Yep.
Works out great, doesn't it?
Yeah, it works fine.
Yeah, we've done a recipe before on that, and I've had some on the way in today. So get out there and take a deer and consider making some jerky. So, well, we've gone through most of our general topics. You guys have anything else you want to talk about that you're excited about this year? No? All right. Well, guess what? Now we're going to move on to trivia. Okay. So we've got 10 trivia questions, and in the event that someone ties, we do have a tiebreaker question if we have to use it. So underneath each of your chairs, you should have a dry erase board and a marker, and if you don't mind, I'll have you keep scores yourself there, and play at home. This is a lot of fun. Some of these questions are a little easier. Some of them are, I suspect that we'll get no perfect 10, so don't feel bad, because some of them are a little more challenging. So play along at home. Hopefully this is fun. All of these are going to pertain to either animals in the state of Kentucky, habitat from the state of Kentucky, or potentially legal firearms or hunting methods in the state of Kentucky. So let's go. This is going to be a lot of fun. Our very first trivia question here. Which Kentucky upland game bird makes a drumming sound that can be heard during the breeding season? All right? And all these are going to be multiple choice. I'm going to give you 4 choices. A is the woodcock. B is the ruffed grouse. C, the bobwhite quail. D, the dove. Which Kentucky upland game bird makes a drumming sound that can be heard during the breeding season? A, woodcock. B, ruffed grouse. C, bobwhite quail. D, dove. Everybody got their answers already? Oh, you guys are quick. All right, what have we got? Let's see, turn your answers around. Looks like we're 3 for 3. That's the way to start. Right. Nice job. Everybody gets a tally mark.
There we go.
That B is the ruffed grouse. If you ever heard that sound, it's a beautiful sound.
Sure
That's
is.
a little bit tricky because all these animals make sounds, but the drumming sound was the key there. So nice job. Next question. What is the purpose of velvet on a deer's antler? A, cool their body. B, absorbs moisture. C, provides nutrition and growth to antlers. Or D, repels insects. What is the purpose of velvet on a deer's antler? A, to cool their body. B is to absorb moisture. C, provide nutrition and growth to antlers. Or D is to repel insects. Everybody got their answer? Everybody? All right, let's see them. All right, this group's good. Right. That's 2 for 2. Everybody got them all.
It was not as confident.
All right, the answer. The answer is C. It provides nutrition and growth to the antlers. So it's amazing. When we get these call-in shows, a lot of times we get people that don't realize, they just think that certain times of year they're seeing all does. Deer actually like elk, they shed their entire antler every single year, and that velvet on there is how that you get the blood flow and the nutrition to regrow those antlers. Every single year, that antler grew from nothing to whatever it is, a pretty short period of time, isn't it?
Yep.
What is the time from they first start budding out till they lose their velvet?
You know, most deer are dropping in February, March at the latest, and they're ready, you know, dropping velvet first week of September. So
Yeah, so
elk are even faster, and you know that's one of the fastest growing tissues on earth.
it's amazing
So
that
it
hard,
is.
and they
Yeah.
can grow that fast. All right, well, very good job. That's 2 for 2 for all of you. Question number 3, what is the term for the distance between a bowstring and the grip when the bow is at rest? All right, when the bow is at rest. The term between the distance between the bowstring and the grip when the bow is at rest. A is the draw length, B is the string gap, D is the knocking point, or excuse me, C is the knocking point, D is the brace height. What is the term for the distance between the bowstring and the grip when the bow is at rest? A, draw length, B, string gap, C, knocking point, D, brace height. Everybody got their answer? Waiting a minute here? Okay.
You confident? You got
I'm
one?
confident. Yeah.
All right. I know you're a traditional archer, so you probably know this. You do know this. Man, 3 for 3. Nice job, guys.
That was a guess.
The answer is D,
guessed right.
the brace height. Now, the trick there was the at rest. When you got the bow at full draw, that's called something different. What's that called?
Draw length.
That's the draw length, all right? The brace height is the distance between your grip and the string when the bow's at rest before you draw it. The larger brace height tends to mean what?
I don't know that answer.
So the larger the brace height, the bows tend to be a little more forgiving and easier to shoot.
Okay.
The shorter the brace height is usually when you get into your speed bows. You might get a little faster bow. The larger the brace height, they tend to be more forgiving and a little easier to shoot.
Interesting.
So your brace height, there you go.
And B sounded like a made-up term. So I was going to go with B. But
Yeah, the string gap.
the string gap just
Yeah,
didn't seem right.
don't choose the string gap. That doesn't exist as far as I know. All right, nice job, guys. Let's go on to question number 4. Right now, we've got. Don't have to really give out the score here. It's 3 to 3 to 3. So here we go. Nice job.
Head to head.
Next question. This popular hunting cartridge was developed in 1952 and was later adopted as a military cartridge. All of these are legal hunting rounds. This one is a pretty popular one. It's a popular hunting cartridge that was developed in 1952 and was later adopted as a military cartridge. Here's your options. A, 30-06, B, 6.5 Creedmoor, C, 308 Winchester, or D, 243 Winchesters. All really, really successful, popular deer hunting rounds. It was developed in 1952 and later adopted as a military cartridge. A, 30-06, B, 6.5 Creedmoor, C, 308 Winchester, D, 243 Winchester. All right, everybody got an answer?
I'm not confident, but I got an answer.
All right, pretty confident? All right, the answer is C, 308. I don't know what year the Creedmoor came out, but I think that it was maybe later than that, but I'm not really sure. That's a good answer, though. All right, the answer is C, 308. Any of you guys shoot a 308?
I got one.
You got a 308?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like it.
No.
Yep. No. Okay. 308 Winchester, very, very, very popular hunting round. Developed in 1952 and is adopted as a military cartridge round after that. All right. Hopefully you're playing along out there. Hopefully you are also 4 for 4. We've got 3, 4, and 4, right?
Yep.
All right. Next question. Let's move on to number 5. During the Kentucky elk restoration, hey, this should be yours right here.
Let's hope so. Yeah.
Elk were translocated from the following states except. So they came from 3 of these states except. All right. A, Colorado. B, Oregon. C, Utah. D, Kansas. All right. During the Kentucky elk restoration, elk were translocated from all the following states except A, Colorado. B, Oregon. C, Utah. D, Kansas. Everybody have their answer. All right. All right.
Oh, sorry.
He's not even waiting for the answer. He already knows it. He's like, sorry. This one surprised me. I have to tell you, this one surprised me a little bit. I've been around for a while, all the way back to some of the elk reintroductions, and the answer is A, Colorado. We definitely would have thought that we would have brought elk from Colorado, because a lot of times you think about elk, you think about Colorado, but John, you knew that. No
I did. Well, they had CWD at the time.
Oh, okay.
So they were off limits.
No, they were off limits. So we did not bring elk from Colorado. Guys, I'd have missed that one too. So so that was a tough one. All right, so now we got 3, 4, and 5. You guys, somebody's got to keep up with him here, because we have a tiebreaker question I hope we get to here. All right, on to question number 6. By what year had Kentucky completed its deer restoration across all 120 counties? All right. I don't know what year it started, but this was the year it was completed for deer restoration across all 120 counties. A, 1979. B, 1999. C, 1998. D, 1986. By what year had Kentucky completed its deer restoration across all 120 counties? Sergeant Blackwell, I tell you, this is tough, because I don't hear any law enforcement questions in here yet.
That's okay.
All of these are wildlife questions and habitat questions, so it's a little tough. But you're doing good.
Hit me with them again.
All right, here's your years: 1979, 1999, 1998, 1986. And what you remember the last county that the reintroduction was in?
It's out east somewhere.
Yeah.
Perry County, maybe?
I don't remember the exact county either, but I knew it was somewhere out east. I figured you may be able to give us some additional knowledge here.
No, that was before my time.
Well, I cheated and looked at your answer, and you're right. So you got that part right. All right, what do you guys have? All right, the answer is B, 1999. It was till 1999. When did it start?
I only knew. I don't. 70s maybe?
I think so.
I got a really good Kentucky Afield article on that recently. But I knew the deer and elk overlapped for a year.
Okay.
So
all right. So you're using the general broad knowledge of all the animal species you've been involved with to eliminate a couple of them, and there you go.
That's right.
The deer and elk restoration overlapped. So 1999. Man, that's something. Just 26 years ago. So that's pretty interesting. You think about how many deer we have in every county in the state of Kentucky now, and we were still relocating deer until 1999.
Yeah.
So what a success story.
Yeah. What's the score here? What we got, Thomas? We got 3, 4,
6.
and 6. All right. Man, we may have
blow
to.
The rest of these very easily.
I'm coming for you.
These deer and elk questions, man. You've got these deer and elk questions. Oh my gosh. The next one is also an elk question.
All right.
You're liking this, huh? You actually completed your doctoral study through the University of Kentucky on our elk project,
On elk,
right?
yes, sir. Yep.
So these, you didn't write these questions, did you?
No, I didn't.
Just making
sure
sure.
what to expect.
All right. Well, here we go. I know this is probably right up your alley as well. How many elk were translocated to Kentucky during the entire restoration period? So this is a total number. This is going to be a little tough. How many elk were translocated to Kentucky during the restoration period? A, 1,497. B, 1,556. C, 1,541. D, 1567. And I'll be honest with you guys, this would be a complete stab in the dark for me. I would have to just pick one because I would have no idea.
Say the numbers again.
All right, the numbers. These are the total number of elk that were translocated to Kentucky during the Restoration period. 1,497, 1556, 1541, 1567. All right, let's see yours first. He's right again. The answer is C.
There you go.
15.
All
y'all, man, y'all got it. I would not have got this one
That's a
right.
number that's out there. I feel
Yeah,
like.
that's great. The answer is C, 1541.
I was also guessing. So.
1,541. How many different states? Obviously, we know it wasn't Colorado. How many states did we bring up?
5 states.
5 states, and not Colorado, for a total of 1,541. All right, there you go. Nice job. All right, the next one is not a deer or elk question. All right. The next question is about rabbits. All right. Which species of cottontail rabbit found in Kentucky can weigh up to 6 pounds? All right. Anybody know how many species of rabbits we have in the state of Kentucky? All right, you know?
I know.
How many?
3.
All right, there you go. Well, I've got 4 answers, so you know one of them is not an actual rabbit found in the state of Kentucky. All right, which species of cottontail rabbits found in Kentucky can weigh up to 6 pounds? Eastern, swamp, Appalachian, or mountain rabbit?
Mountain rabbit.
There you go. There are your answers. I think this one's a little tough too, I'll be honest with you. Everybody got an answer? You got an answer? All right.
Yeah.
Let's see them.
There we
All
go.
bees,
Swamp
yeah.
rabbit.
Swamp rabbits. You know, it seems like cottontails could get close to that 6 pound range, so that's what I was like, up to, wait a
I
minute.
thought it might be a trick.
Yeah. You guys.
I was wondering that too, but
You guys stuck to your guns and got that right. I believe I've seen some swamp rabbits maybe would outweigh 6 pounds, but you know, I don't know. So there you go. 6 pounds, that's right, swamp rabbits. We actually were having a conversation before the show started today. You know, you're a guy that likes to get out and hunt. Jimmy, you said you have never hunted swamp rabbits in
I
Kentucky.
never have. No.
We're going to change that.
Yeah,
we're going to change that.
I'd love to.
And you have property in Ohio County. You probably have swamp rabbits down there, don't you?
Not there, but we've hunted them in Henderson County.
In Henderson County.
Many
Thomas,
years
you ever
ago.
been hunting for swamp rabbits?
I didn't even know they existed until the academy.
Oh yeah.
We were doing a waterfowl training in Western Kentucky, and they found one dead and threw it in the blind when we came up to check, and
Oh,
tried
okay.
to trick you up a little bit.
Nice.
A swamp rabbit.
Yeah, it was pretty good size.
I did notice that before we came on live today, they were talking about what is the legal number that you can harvest in a day of rabbits in Kentucky, and what your bag limit was, right?
Yes. Daily limit, possession limit.
Daily
4.
limit of possession. What is that?
4 is your daily limit. Possession limit is double that.
There you go. I know if we make these all law enforcement questions, you're going to get every single one of these right. So you're doing good though. That was good. That was good. So what is our tallies now?
5.
5,
6,
6,
8.
and 8. All right.
Yep.
That means we got 2 questions left to go. Here we go. This is going to be up your alley too. What is the minimum score required to attain an all-time Boone and Crockett record for typical whitetail? All right. What is the minimum score required to attain an all-time Boone and Crockett record for typical whitetail? Here are your answers, or your solutions here. A, 160, B, 170, C, 180, D, 190. Now, I know you're an official Boone and Crockett
No,
scorer.
I'm not.
You're not?
No,
Okay.
I was out of
Any of you
town.
guys official Boone and Crockett scorer?
No.
No? Okay. All right.
Nor do I kill deer
This is kind of shot in the dark.
that big. I've never had to worry about it. I'm going with a guess.
Oh, really? Okay. I thought for some reason, you were a Boone and Crockett scorer. So what is the minimum score required to attain an all-time Boone and Crockett record for typical whitetail? A, 160, B, 170, C, 180, D, 190. All right? And what are your answers?
A.
It's B.
Oh, man.
Thomas, you got it. 170.
170.
170.
Comeback time.
I think that there's a 3-year something number that might be a little bit less.
160.
That might be in the 160s, but yeah, an all-time 170 inches. Anybody here ever taken a buck that was 170 inches?
No.
That's a big deer, isn't it?
It's a big deer.
That's a big deer.
Yeah.
All right. You're making your comeback.
It's not rigged.
You started to wonder maybe he had the solution set here. Huh?
Flag out.
Now that he's ahead, he's
I think I just got lucky there.
he's going to throw it.
All
to
right,
you.
what's our tally now? Going into our last question. What do we got?
I got 6.
6.
Got 8.
All right. Well,
Tiebreaker.
Here we go.
You're all in.
here we go. We're going to get down to question number 10. All right. Next question. Which species of migratory bird is nicknamed after a choice cut of beef? All right. Which species of migratory bird has a nickname that is after a choice cut of beef? A, redhead. B, Canada goose. C, mallard. D, sandhill crane. All right. Species of migratory bird that has a nickname that is after a choice cut of beef. A, redhead. B, Canada goose. C, mallard. D, sandhill crane. Everybody have an answer? What do we got?
Ribeye.
Everybody knows about the
yeah.
ribeye in the sky. All these questions are actually taken off of our website. So every one of these answers are on there somewhere. Ribeye in the sky, sandhill crane. Have any of you guys ever hunted sandhill cranes?
I haven't, no.
No?
Haven't. I've eaten them though.
You have?
Yeah.
And what'd you think?
Delicious.
They are. They
Yep.
really are delicious.
Wow.
Lucky enough to go out with one of our retired law enforcement officers down in Barron County. I was lucky enough to get out and take a sandhill crane, and they are delicious. Very close to backstrap, but just even better.
Yep.
You can believe that. So
Wow.
really, really, really good. The ribeyes in the sky. All right, that was our last question. So our tally ended up being 7, 7, and 9. Well, congratulations,
Thank
John.
you. Thank you.
That was really good.
I appreciated the elk question.
You guys all did great. Next time we'll have to work more small game questions in there, huh? All right, now we've got a few minutes left. We're going to get to, and I hope you enjoyed this format. Today we decided we wanted to do something slightly different and maybe get some information out there that you didn't know you wanted to know. If you ever have any questions regarding rules and regulations, obviously you can always go to the website. You can pick up the hunting and fishing guide. You can also always call our info line, 1-800-858-1549. Now, let's get to a couple of our questions that have been submitted. Our first question is going to get sent one of these hats. So let's get our first question here. How do you go about hunting on public land during gun season for a first-time hunter? Any tips on scouting and public access? Who wants to take this? This could be.
Yeah, anybody.
I know our website is,
Yeah.
full of information.
Yep.
They do a phenomenal job of breaking down each wildlife management area. Giving you GPS points, telling you what the access parts are, like where to park at. I would definitely start there and find out one that's close to you, and then maybe kind of spread your way out. The next thing on the legal side is to make sure that you have all of your license requirements in line. That can also be found on our website or in the hunting guide that you can pick up at any Walmart sporting goods store. Just read through that pretty religiously and make sure you got everything. And if you still have second thoughts on not knowing if you have everything, call our 1-800 number and ask an info specialist.
Yeah, and so you got to be real cautious because some of our public lands have quota hunts, so it's not open during the normal firearm season. So make sure that you do your research on the front side. Scouting's always good. You may even want to stop by the office and talk to someone about, hey, where are you seeing deer? What type of food plots have been put out? But I'll tell you this. A lot of people get out and hunt on these pieces of property. Find you a spot that's, if you're young and able and willing, find you a spot that's a little off the beaten path. That's a great place to get out there. And then everybody walks past the food plots, and you got 10 people out there in the off the beaten path area, and they all are sitting there looking at each other. So you do want to find the food source, and then after you find the food source, make sure that if you're willing to go, ask those people that work these WMAs that, hey, where's the spot that you would go if you were going tomorrow? And it's always a good way to start. You worked at quite a few WMAs, haven't you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the only tip I would have is, just because your gun can shoot that far doesn't mean you need to see that far.
Yeah.
So getting that thick cover, timber harvest is a really good option. Any kind of really thick cover, deer are going to kind of pool up there when they're being hunted. So
yeah, when that hunt takes place and there's more commotion in those woods, they're going to find some thick cover, aren't they?
Absolutely.
And you might want to walk a little bit. Don't just pick the 15 yards away from your parking spot.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's what everybody else is probably going to do. So if you walk a little bit, you'll probably have better success.
Yeah.
Have you guys harvested deer on public lands in Kentucky?
Yeah.
Yep, I have too. Thomas, have you ever harvested deer on public lands in Kentucky?
I think I have.
Okay, yeah. I tell you what, it's a great place. There are some great places to get out there. We have a lot of public access properties. So the main thing is, like I say, plan your hunt. Make sure that you know the boundary lines, the places you can park and access, and especially if you're willing to do the deboning method to go out there and you got to bring out whatever needs to be checked, but especially if you're taking CWD samples. But man, if you can be willing to walk out there and bring your deboned meat out, man, that's a good way to go about it.
Yep, absolutely.
Next question here is let's see. Next question is number 2. What are some endangered bird species I should be looking for in the Daniel Boone National Forest area? This is a person that's looking for, I guess they're looking for some bird species that might be in the Daniel Boone National Forest area. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't, down in that neck of the woods.
I tell you what, let's skip that one because I like this next question here. Second question, how many does can you harvest per year?
Yep.
Talk to us about how many does can be harvested.
So the main thing depends on what zone you're in. And if you go on our website or look at one of our hunting guides, it's right there in your face. I mean, all you got to do is pick your county, match it up with the color code for the zone, and then go from there. So zone 1 is going to be your most wide open on antlerless deer. Your deer permit allows for 4 deer. So once you have collected your 4 deer, you can buy additional deer tags, which allows for 2 more deer to be harvested. But that's only in your zone 1, which is unlimited antlerless. Zone 2 and 3 and 4, they're going to be a little bit more restrictive, have a little bit more conservative dates and seasons on them. Zone 2, I'm really familiar with. It's one of the counties I worked. It was 4 deer only, and it could be 1 antlered, 3 antlerless, or all 4 could be antlerless.
Okay.
But once you hit that, then you're done. And kind of piggybacking off that with the CWD zone, this special season we have this weekend, those do count towards your back limit.
Okay.
So I have had a few phone calls asking about that. Since it's so brand new and special, they think these are like unchecked deer. No, they go towards your back limit. So which majority of the counties are, for the most part, zone 1.
Yep.
I believe. I think there's a few meat and brick, and those are zone.
So
3.
$1 regardless of what zone you're in. Unlimited does in zone 1, and then zone 2 it's 4 is the max. But
total.
once you hit your 4 on all of your statewide tags, you need to then go buy a bonus.
Additional
and it used to
deer
be
tag.
called a bonus antlerless. It's no longer called that anymore because you can take 4 does and go buy your bonus permit and then make that your buck tag, right? A lot of times people will be like, oh man,
I think they lost it.
they think they lost their buck tag, but that's not the case. You still get to take
Carries
one buck.
on over in
So-
the zone 1s. It does, yes.
There you go. So plenty of opportunities out there. Speaking of opportunities, this next question here is about youth hunters. So we've got new opportunities for youth hunters. We'll talk a little bit about that again here in a second. But can a youth hunter from a different state hunt in Kentucky during the free weekend on a family farm?
Yes, they can do that. They still need to telecheck the deer.
Yeah.
Of course, using their if they don't have, probably won't have a driver's license or anything, but make sure you get their social security number.
Yeah.
So that you can telecheck it in on that.
That's the thing. If you're going to take a young kid out, you need to be able to get access to that social to telecheck a deer. And a lot of people, I get the question every year. Somebody call me, hey, you won't believe it, so and so got their first deer. They went out on a youth hunt, and they're like, which option do I choose when I telecheck that? And it's under your
Youth under 12 or landowner. License exempt would be another.
yeah. So it's on there. It says 100 under 12, and if they're over 12, but if they're over 12 and they have the youth permit, then they just go under the statewide, right?
Correct. Yes. Once they buy their youth permit, most of the information's in there because you had to either do it on the My Profile, you had to create a My Profile, or if you went to an actual licensed vendor, they would have created everything for you. So the name and date of birth and all that will be in the telecheck system.
Okay, so you got to telecheck it regardless of how it was taken, what your youth or non-youth. Let's talk a little bit about the youth season one more time, because youth season this year is a little different than it has been in years past. Tell me about this year's opportunities for youth season.
So it's extended, how many more days?
Yeah, no, I think it's 9 days total.
Yes,
So it runs through starts a youth week, the normal youth weekend, and runs through the early muzzleloader.
Yeah, this year it's the youth deer season for a firearm is going to run October 11th through October the 19th. I think this is one of the best things we've done here in the state of Kentucky. As busy as our kids are nowadays, and you got a weekend, you never know what the weather's going to be like. Kids that do travel sports, they have other obligations, and now they've got an extended window for youth season. I think this is really, really good. So the youth have got an opportunity between October the 11th and the October the 19th. Tell me what other hunters need to know during that period of time.
As in?
If you're a bow hunter and you're hunting and it's youth firearm season, now those 9 days are not closing off limits to you, but you need to wear hunter's orange now, right?
Yes.
So if you're
any type of firearm season that's in muzzleloader, modern firearm, yes, you still need to wear the hunter orange.
So even if you're not taking a youth out for youth season and you're a bow hunter, a crossbow hunter, during that season, you need to be cautious, because if a rifle season or a firearm season is in, you need to make sure that you're wearing your hunter's orange. So now, an archer during that week is going to need to be in hunter's orange, correct?
Yes. And it's when we're talking about deer hunting statewide, like if it's modern gun for elk in eastern Kentucky, you don't have to wear orange in central or western Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's only when it applies to the whole state.
Yeah. An interesting thing, too, this is something that amazes me that a lot of people don't realize. We also have 2 days that are free youth deer weekends. 2 days for a free youth hunting season. And what do you know the dates on that?
I want to say it's in...
It looks like it's December 27th and 28th.
Yeah, I knew it was towards the end of December.
So yeah, 27th and 28th. Tell me what that allows you to do.
So that's, I don't want to say wide open, but you're basically license exempt under the age of 16. So I guess 12 to 15, well, under the age of 16, they can go out for free. They don't have to have a license. They don't need to have a junior sportsman, none of that stuff. Basically just an opportunity to try to get a youth out there and not have to worry about getting those licenses, just see if they like it. And they still have to abide by the seasons, the limits, hunter orange, all those, the calibers, all that stuff.
And they still have to telecheck them.
And they still, yes, they have to telecheck.
There's no getting out of the telecheck.
No, basically, the only exemption for that weekend is they do not have to, if they fall within that age range that needs a license, they are license exempt that weekend.
Yeah. So that, I'll tell you what, have you ever participated in that free weekend?
Yeah, I think we had that. I had a couple of young cousins that we go out there and try to get a doe.
You never know what type of weather you're going to get in December. Sometimes it's absolutely beautiful. It's perfect, and it's a big enough break after the firearm season that things have settled down a little bit. It can be a really productive time to get out and really nice. Sometimes weather in Kentucky in December is still really nice. So that is definitely an option. So. Well, the next question is just about how the black bear in eastern Kentucky are doing.
They're doing great. Yeah, they're doing great. So we're seeing harvest is going up and up every year. More encouragingly to me, we're selling more bear permits every year. So we've almost doubled that. So I like to see that because there's people getting interested in it.
Yeah.
It's relatively new, but it's become a popular.
I've never harvested a bear in Kentucky or any other state, and I have only tried bear that was bought like jerky or whatever. What's bear like?
Bear's good. It's good, and it's one of those things. The people that cook it really well do a really good job, but it's one of those that you kind of just got to know. Kind of got to think, plan ahead, and find a good recipe and have at it. I think when it's done good, it's as good as anything that we've got.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. You know what? It seems like that opportunity keeps growing in the state of Kentucky. It seems like there's more and more and more bear.
Yep.
And as that continues to grow, like how many counties are open for bear hunting now?
Yeah, so we got 47 of them, which is, the eastern half of the state. So a lot of opportunity.
All right, we got another question here. It's, do you have any recommendations for the best shotgun and shot size to use for various small game? What do you guys recommend for small game hunting? If you were going to take one shotgun, what would you have?
Oh, I like a 20. That's what I always rabbit hunted with growing up. Bird hunted with it. 20 with some 7.5s. You can't go wrong.
Yeah. What's your thoughts?
I can agree with that. Yeah, I like a 12. That's what I've always hunted with. But I like 6s quite a bit. It just kind of splits the difference on, especially if I'm going to run into a squirrel. But yeah, 7.5s for birds for sure. Yeah.
What's your thoughts, Thomas?
They say starting out.
What's that now?
Did he say just starting out?
Well, it's just like, do you have any recommendations for best shotgun sizes and shot size for various use for small game?
Yes, I would go with the 20 gauge. I'd make it a little bit more challenging in some aspects, and I would say 6, 7.5 shot.
You know what's interesting about a 20 gauge shotgun is that you can turkey hunt with it. With the loads that are out now, a lot of your hunters are moving down in gauge. Instead of hunting with 12 gauges, they're moving to 20 gauges because you can get long range and great knockdown. It's great. It's a great shotgun for rabbit hunting, squirrel hunting, bird hunting. And I tell you what, I know I started out, matter of fact, it wasn't until about 10, 12 years ago, I did all my deer hunting with a rifled slug gun on a 20 gauge. You can buy a 20 gauge and put a slug barrel on there, and you've got a turkey gun, a deer gun, a rabbit gun, a squirrel gun, a bird gun. Yep. You can kind of do it all. Yeah, don't tell my wife that I only need that one gun, because right. She'd be like, what's the rest of them for? But you know what? If you want to get into hunting, a 20 gauge with a slug barrel, you've covered most of Kentucky.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's a really good opportunity. Now, bear hunting and elk hunting, is shotguns allowed with the rifled slug barrel? It is, okay. So you have covered everything then. You pretty much can do it all. Any of you guys ever deer hunting with a slug barrel?
Never have.
I've killed deer with a slug just out of a straight bore barrel. Not a rifle.
Not a rifle,
barrel.
but a straight bore barrel. Yeah. Now, Fort Knox, they kill a lot of deer out there. They're not shooting high-powered rifles out there. They're using a slug gun. So, slugging for bucks. It's a fun way to go about it. If your range is people shoot them with scopes too nowadays. I mean, you can reach out there 100 yards, 80 to 100 yards. You can still knock them down. So, if you're looking for a Christmas gift or a do-it-all kind of gun, I think that the 20 gauge shotgun's a hard one to beat.
Yep.
So, last question. I'm going to go through the group here and tell me what's your favorite fall hunting pursuit. What's your favorite thing to hunt for in the fall?
Favorite thing in the fall? I'm going to say wood duck and teal season, and I've got 2 days left in that to get that done. So it did not happen this weekend, but that's one of my favorite weekends of the year.
Yeah, you really enjoy that.
So if you can dove hunt in the evening, even better.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
I've got a bird dog. I like getting out, so I'm gonna be looking forward to quail and woodcock.
Okay.
I may even try to pursue some grouse this year.
All right. Yeah. So there you go. It's an upland bird hunting. That's kind of what you enjoy. Yep. Thomas, what's your favorite thing to get out and hunt for in the fall?
I mean, deer during the fall is by far the best, I think. But it's been a while since I've been able to get out there and do that. But
yeah.
For the law enforcement aspect, deer hunting fall season is the best time ever. I think it beats our boating season, and it's right up there with spring turkey too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just because there's so many people out and there's so many opportunities for people to go out and hunt and enjoy the outdoors.
Mm-hmm. I would have said for years my favorite was, behind a pack of eagles, rabbit hunting. But my kids are getting into hunting, and they like the rabbit hunting too. But seeing them take their first deer, taking a kid out there, and I love the solitude of the archery hunt as well early in the year. But man, taking a kid out there and watching them go through the energy and the highs and lows of a deer, thinking it's coming, and for whatever reason it turns and goes the other way, and watching their emotional roller coaster and the excitement when they're successful. Probably my favorite thing to do now is to go out there with a kid, your kid or someone else's. In my case, it has been my own kids, and And that is super, super, super rewarding. And you know what? They tend to have more respect for it on the table too, and that's always a good thing to see.
Sure.
Well, man, we've outlined a ton of opportunities in the field. And let us know what you think about this new format. We were kind of going through and looking at some of our past shows. We wanted to change things up a little bit. We thought that some of this general discussion would be nice. We also enjoyed the trivia aspect. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that as well. Hopefully you got all the answers right at home. So let us know what you think about this and what you would like to see from our future live question and answer shows here on Kentucky Afield. But hey, hunting season is in. Hopefully you're finding a passion that you can get out and pursue some form of wildlife out in the field. The seasons are opening up almost every single week. Our deer season is open now, and youth season is right around the corner. I'm your host, Chad Miles, and remember, hunting and fishing on private property is a privilege. Always ask permission and thank the landowner.